It takes courage for a boxer just to get into the ring and fight, knowing that their opponent is going to try to hit them with hard punches.
What you want me to do? My right hand. What you want me to do? I gotta keep going.
These are times that boxers refuse to give up when faced with adversity, and therefore chose to go above and beyond the call of duty. In 1995, Kevin Kelly lost his WBC featherweight title to Alejandro Gonzalez after being pulled out by his corner at the end of round 10 because he was unable to see through a completely swollen shut right eye.
Fight's over, kid.
Fight's over.
There's always tomorrow.
There it is.
18 months later, Kelly got a bad case of deja vu against Derek Gainer. At the end of the 4th round, Kelly's right eye completely swelled shut after being knocked down by a cluster of punches.
3-punch combination, 4 punches, 5 punches, 6 punches by Gainer, and Kelly goes down, and his right eye is a mess.
Kelly complained to the referee that Gainer had thumbed him, and judging by the way that his right eye had shut as tight as a ball and in such immediate fashion, it was likely true, but also likely to have been an accidental foul.
He took a shot early before that combination landed and was just trying to cover up and get through the round.
Bill Borza yelling at the referee that Kelly's been thumbed in the eye.
Look at me. Are we trained to fight with no eyes or not? Look at me. We are trained to fight with no goddamn eyes. You got that? Gotcha.
After Kelly's trainer Phil Borgia fired him up in the corner, Kelly came out looking for a KO in the 5th round, and he almost got it when he knocked Gainer down with an overhand left in the opening 20 seconds.
And down goes Gainer.
And he's hurt.
Gainer was still wobbly after he beat the count, which prompted Kelly to put everything that he could into his punches in a frantic bid to end the fight. But Gainer managed to tie him up and then came fighting back.
Kevin Kelly drawing on his desperation, and now he takes leather in return.
In the final minute of the round, Gainer began to stick and move, and he landed several overhand lefts directly on Kelly's injured eye.
Gainer starting to pump punches into that closed Kevin Kelly right eye.
In rounds 6 and 7, Gainer continued to use long-range tactics, and he largely dominated the action. But Kelly bravely never stopped coming forward, even after he was tagged with more left hands.
Wait, and then you tag him.
Gainer able to load up the left hand and just pound away on Kevin Kelly's blind side. And
Kev, you got to be on this man's ass, damn it.
Hold on, Phil. And all you got to do is run over there and chase him the other way.
Kelly gets tagged on the blind eye again.
You got to go around and, just like herding cattle, make the cows go in another direction.
It's against Kevin Kelly. Gainer has controlled much of the fight with his quickness, his speed, and his willingness to get off first. Like that.
At the end of the 7th round, the ringside doctor went into Kelly's corner and warned Kelly that he would stop the fight if he kept getting hit on his now grotesquely swollen right eye.
As long as he's not taking too many left-hand shots, he's okay.
Okay.
No, I think he can go.
Yeah, he can go.
I can't see out of what I'm fighting.
Let's go.
Can you see out of the other eye?
He's not taking
You can see a letter.
Fine.
I can see.
Okay.
We got to work, Doc. We got to work.
You know, when you have a fighter cut under one eye, that's okay. You allow the fight to go. But when he clearly cannot see, this is too much of a disadvantage.
You would stop it?
I would stop the fight.
Get this water.
Nothing to be ashamed of. You can't see, you can't fight.
In the 8th round, Gainer stunned Kelly several times with fast combinations, and it seemed to be only a matter of time before he emerged victorious.
Kelly stunned now as Gainer pounds him against the ropes. He got hit twice on the blind eye.
But instead of taking his time and picking his punches, Gainer became reckless in the final minute of the round and left himself wide open to a vicious overhand left counter from Kelly.
From Kevin Kelly's nostrils now, both sides bleeding. Down goes Gainer.
A left hand, a big left hand, and Gainer may not get up.
He will not get up.
6.
Why would he fight a fight like that?
Arturo
Kevin Kelly has done it.
Kelly celebrated wildly after snatching victory from the most ominous-looking jaws of defeat imaginable.
Kevin Kelly, blind in the right eye, scores a dramatic bailout knockout of Derek Gainer.
Kevin, in the corner, you were constantly urged that you had to fight with one eye. Were you anywhere near saying, I have to stop this?
No, never. I never told Phil that I'm going to stop fighting. I had a closed eye. I had 2 closed eyes when I fought Alejandro Gonzalez. I'm used to it. I fought like it before. This is what makes champions. I think Gainer learned a lesson today also. That's what makes champions.
If this was a top 10 video of the worst cuts in boxing history, then the cut that Badou Jack suffered during his 2019 fight with Marcus Brown would be near the top of the list. Jack was already trailing on the scorecards when an accidental clash of heads with Brown in the 7th round opened up a vertical cut in the middle of his forehead. A timeout was immediately called by the referee Tony Weeks, and after being checked over by a ringside doctor, Jack was allowed to continue. The cut was always long, but initially the bleeding was only moderate. However, in the 8th round, Brown repeatedly landed punches on the cut, which opened it up wider and turned Jack's face into a red mask of blood.
With blood all over the face of Badou Jack. And he clips him right on top of it again. That Badou Jack had a really stiff jab in there with the left hand. And he's taking a lot of punishment too.
For the remainder of the fight, the cut bled profusely down Jack's face, which clearly affected his vision and performance, but he showed great courage and still tried to win.
Man, is he working towards trying to get at that. Is Badou coming back now a little bit? Badou is some kind of tough. I want to tell you, that time he clips Brown with the right hand. Jack? Wow, look at this. Brown. Nice right hand by Badou on the inside. Badou not quitting in any way.
The 11th round produced a gruesome moment. 40 seconds in, Brown landed a left hook on the cut, which immediately stopped Jack in his tracks, and soon after, Weeks called for another timeout. At this point, the fight really should have been stopped, but Jack wanted to fight on, and Weeks gave him another chance. The fight would end up going the full 12 rounds, and after the final bell, Brown was awarded a wide points decision victory. Post-fight, an image of Weeks went viral after his blue shirt had turned pink from the bloodshed. Jack immediately left the ring and went to a local hospital, where a plastic surgeon needed 30 minutes to sew him up. Jack estimated that he needed 100 stitches to close the cut, about 30 plus apiece on 3 different layers of skin. In 2006, Miguel Cotto and Paulie Malignaggi were considered as 2 of the best light welterweights in the world, and they met in a highly anticipated matchup for Cotto's WBO title. Malignaggi got a bad cut in the opening 20 seconds of the fight, and a left hook from Cotto in the 2nd round knocked Malignaggi down and broke his right orbital bone. For anyone wondering, a broke orbital bone is an eye socket injury that can affect the muscles and nerves around the eye. It can also cause swelling of the cheek or forehead, impaired vision, a feeling of numbness, and if severe enough, it can lead to permanent vision loss or blindness.
Good combination back from Malignaggi. Oh, and a good counter punch by Cotto. Cotto finding openings with his combinations and counters to the body. Final seconds of round number 2. Knockdown scored by the champion Cotto.
From round 3 onwards, Malignaggi fought his way back into the fight by abandoning his usual slick back foot boxing style and brawling with Cotto.
Round number 4 scheduled for 12. Good combination, scored again by Malignaggi. I think we've only seen one of those. But look at Malignaggi, see, he's
fighting.
Well, I think he has to. He took it over from the start of the round.
Depending on the power, and in the championship match, power can't always cut it.
It's a good round for Malignaggi.
That's his
round. How else you can score that?
There's no doubt his round.
I've got him leading in the fight, I gotta say, based on the fact that he's been busier.
You know, I'm starting to wonder if that right cheekbone or jaw of Malignaggi is broken. Do you see how big the right side of his face is?
Left to the body, but missed with the right. Malignaggi comes back with a 1-2.
By the 8th round, the right side of Malignaggi's face had ballooned up to twice its normal size. But he never showed any signs of giving up and continued to battle at close quarters with Cotto right up until the final bell.
At the time, stopping Kelson Pinto.
One step back, Malignaggi gets it.
You know what? Got about 6 solid punches by Malignaggi right there.
Good round for the challenger. Whoa, and he just rocked Cotto. Cotto got a little wild and he opened up.
Stay up, Miguel.
He caught Cotto coming in again. Smoker letting him try to battle her way out.
He doesn't complain, Malignaggi. He gets hit below the belt, never makes one complaint. This is one tough cookie.
What a gutty performance. Oh, that's a huge left there. Punch of the fight by Cotto. Clean, hard shot.
That hurt.
Wanting to do his best here on his home turf.
Yeah, let me just say, he came from Brooklyn, USA.
That's the problem here. Oh, no, they may have to stop this.
Now, most of that blood from nose. What a tough guy.
But it's the 12th round, why not?
He's going to finish off.
Oh, no question. Well, I would pay to come back and watch Malignaggi against anybody. Now Cotto with good exchange. Left to the face of Malignaggi, blood streaming now from the cut in the eye, the nose, his mouth, his cheeks swollen, and he's still throwing. Both of them giving it everything right to the final bell.
Everybody in the garden is on his feet right now. His or her feet.
Boxing needed such a fight.
Despite the torrid start and injuries, Malignaggi would end up losing the fight by only a few rounds on each of the judges' scorecards. Malignaggi won the respect of many boxing fans after putting up such a great fight, and he later described what his orbital bone injury felt like during an interview with Sky Sports.
I remember there was spots in the fight where I was just like sitting in the corner, just wondering like what's going on, you know? I was swallowing a lot of blood, and my face was just grotesquely swollen. I was actually worried about what might be happening to me. The temptation to want to quit in a tough situation comes with all of us. It's the human instinct. Your brain doesn't want to suffer, you know? There's a little battle going on inside your brain in those moments where it's like, nah, stop, nah, don't stop, stop, nah, don't stop, nah, you work too hard for this, nah, screw it, you know, you'll live to fight another day, nah, you work too hard for this. And for me, every time the you work too hard for this wins out, but trust me, we're all human. Those thoughts cross your mind.
In the intro, we said that it takes courage for a boxer just to get into the ring, and perhaps the most courageous example of this is the story of Billy Misk. Known as the St. Paul Thunderbolt, Misk was born in Minnesota on April 12, 1894, and began his career as a middleweight fighter in 1913 before becoming a successful light heavyweight and heavyweight fighter in the 1920s. During his career, Misk fought some of the best boxers of his era and won 74 fights, 34 of them by knockout. But unknown to both his competitors and his family, he was harboring a troubling secret. In the spring of 1918, a doctor had diagnosed Misk with a terminal kidney disorder known as Bright's disease. The doctor estimated that Misk had 5 years left to live and told him to immediately retire from boxing. However, because a prior investment into a car distributorship had left him in debt, he only told his manager of his illness and continued to box. By the fall of 1923, Misk had not fought in 8 months because his health had deteriorated badly, but boxing was the only way that he could support his family, and when a bleak-looking Christmas began to get closer, he accepted a fight for a significant amount of money against Bill Brennan. Misk knew that the money he would earn against Brennan would be enough to pay off the remainder of his debt and still leave enough money to buy Christmas presents for his wife and 3 young children. Despite being too ill to even train, Misk stepped into the ring for the final time on November 7, 1923, and miraculously knocked out Brennan in the 4th round. After giving his family the joyous Christmas that he wanted, Misk passed away on New Year's Day, 1924. To this day, Billy Misk's final fight lives on as one of the most inspiring victories in sports history. Thanks for watching. What's some of your favorite above and beyond moments in boxing? Let us know in the comments, and we will try to include as many as we can in part 2. Once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. In the 1982 fight between Aaron Pryor and Alexis Arguello, Pryor's trainer, Panama Lewis, was heard asking for a mixed water bottle at the end of round 2, and then again at the end of round 13.
All right? Go. You're the boss, don't you? Give me a drink, man, that I mix. One that I mix.